Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics as Non-Classic. This is episode number 1127, Doubleshot number 1021. I got one Marvel trade and one IDW trade. Yep, the IDW trade. I'm really looking forward to talking about this one. Alright, first up it is from Marvel Comics. We have Immortal Hulk Volume 2, The Green Door. Written by Al Ewing, artwork by Joe Bennett. This collects issues 6 through 10 of Immortal Hulk. Yep, Joe Bennett is still the artist on here. Yeah, he does pretty much all the issues except for the first issue. The first issue is done by Lee Garbett. Yep. Mostly put with this one, we have sort of a follow-up, basically, with the whole thing with Sasquatch, where the guy who is Sasquatch, Wayne Lorinsky, yeah, he can't, become Sasquatch because there's no generation in his body. Okay, and we also have the Hulk investigating the Green Door stuff. There's no mention of his father in here, but he's investigating the Green Door. Comes across Shadowface, which apparently this is a mild connection to Captain America, basically, with how this group associated with that big evil group that's in the Captain America book. Yeah, this book is actually connected to that. And mostly put to just do for follow up. Captain Marvel's in here, along with the other two members of Alpha Flight. And they pretty much go searching for the Hulk. Yeah, finds gamma radiation in exchange for basically, not pressing charges. Despite the fact he, didn't do anything wrong. Yep, and then the thing ends with everybody winding up in hell. Yep, that's exactly what happens in here. Also, we have return of Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man. Now, as far as I can tell, I think this is the first time the Absorbing Man has fought the Hulk, and this is Bruce Banner Hulk. Let's see, when was the last time he actually fought him? I don't think he's fought him since Peter David's original run for the title. Yeah, it's been a long time. There is a mention of Absorbing Man's smoking hot wife, Titania. Well, apparently she's working for Raxon now. Okay, I like the fact they brought the Absorbing Man back to the Hulk comic because he's just been roaming around the comic books for about 20 years. I like the fact Al Ewing brought him back, and the fact he had a chance to fight the Hulk, which is awesome. Especially since he's one of those recurring villains. Basically, he's about both Thor and Hulk, and basically Marvel likes from either or. But, yeah, at least about an actual villain instead of fighting the Sasquatch again. Yeah. But this is good. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Can't wait to get hands on Volume 3, Hulk in Hell. And I thought we'd here. I'm not sure exactly. I know that at some point in the series, I think it's probably going to be in the fourth trade, where they explain how in the world Doc Samson was resurrected, despite the fact he was killed back in 2010 in the World War Hulk storyline. And then he was brought back roughly 6 years later with no explanation. Yeah, by Bendis, mind you. But yeah, one thing I've been noticing with Hulk, it's kind of like, basically reading these issues, it seems like though that Al Ewing is basically bringing the Hulk. He's kind of basically reverting the Hulk back to where he was, like storytelling wise, like from the era of like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, the classic style Hulk. Where, even though yes, they do acknowledge previous stuff, which is fine. At one point in the Hulk trade, he gets sliced to pieces by Shadowface. But he gets reabsorbed back together, no problem at all. Yeah, I never knew Hulk can do that. I knew Hulk had a healing factor, but wow, it's like, yeah, it's just so over the top. A bit gory too, yes. I'm not going to show that, but yeah. Now here's the trade I've always wanted to talk about this one. Now I initially got the free comic day issue when this came out, I think it's about a couple years ago. This is written by the people who wrote the Star Trek Next Generation / Doctor Who Assimilation Squared. This is Star Trek The Next Generation, The Mirror Broken. This contains the entire miniseries, done by Scott and David Tipton, art by J.K. Warwood. Now, this is another alternate version of the Mirror Universe. In this version of events, the Empire still exists. It's mostly confined to the solar system. And as you can see, there is obvious differences between this book and the way stuff was presented in Next Generation. Like, for instance, at this point, Picard is not in command of the Enterprise. He's still in command of the Stargazer. Yep, the Stargazer. Why the heck he's still in command of the Stargazer at this point is not actually fully explained, but they also have Deanna Troi is on the ship too, despite the fact in the Prime Universe, nope, she never served on the Stargazer. Or she's the Inquisitor for Picard. Yeah, the difference between Picard in the mainstream one and this one thing, his uniform is sleeveless. He's basically gone to sort of the uniform he's wearing looks similar to what they wear on the show when they showed the Academy uniform. It's very similar to that. He, of course, got the 4 pips to signify his captain. He's a lot more beefier now, and I appreciate the fact they actually show him in the book actually beating up a punching bag, which is a nod to the actor who was a trained boxer. Yeah, Patrick Stewart was a trained boxer. I heard about that on the commentary for First Contact. Yep. Which, if you ever listen to John Frankie's commentary for First Contact, you found so many fascinating things. And what about the rest of the crew? Well, Barclay that's what the one shot is basically focused on, where he is basically works in engineering, and he also works with Natasha Yar. And Natasha Yar is much more cruel than she is in the regular universe. If you think her standing around doing nothing, basically, oh, she's a lot worse. She actually does stuff. She basically kills people on a whim. And at one point, Barclay is nearly killed by an ensign, but he's saved by Data, which in this universe apparently Data and Barclay are becoming really good friends. And it's revealed that apparently Picard found Data in some cave, which is kind of a nod to where he was found in the regular universe, but it wasn't found by Picard, but found by another Starfleet crew, Starfleet away team. He apparently has been experimenting with Borg technology. Yeah, it's never actually explained in the book where the heck he got the Borg technology from. And what about the others? Well, apparently that Picard, Data, and Barclay, well, Barclay himself in the Free Comic Day issue, which they threw in here, he actually kills Tasha Yar by stabbing her in the back. And Picard had previously thrown her a fake award ceremony for doing her efforts, and Picard actually approves of Barclay's actions of killing Tasha Yar. Why? Because her actions, basically, from his point of view, were irrational, and the fact she killed for simply the fact she enjoyed it. Yeah, Picard at least has some intelligence in this universe, and he's a bit smarter than he is in the regular timeline. Okay, so he also attacked a Cardassian ship. And though he does chop off one of his wings, he does capture a couple of Cardassian prisoners while doing this. He dragged ship back to Mars, the United Planet, basically the shipyards, and they're happy to. And of course, the quartermaster is happy to get, but he's like, "Oh yeah, you got half a ship because you chopped off one of the wings." And you call really? The ship was mostly intact with the exception of one small section. Who the frick cares? The engine is pretty much intact. And Picard's like upset by it, so Data takes initiative. So, oh, by the way, Data is actually a lot more yeah, a lot of the characters in this universe are a lot more muscular. They're a lot more beefier than they are in regular universe. So Data goes behind a wall, punches it, and gets access to the shipyard systems and gets information about the Enterprise. Yep, the Enterprise. And he had heard rumblings about the Galaxy-class project, and the Enterprise being the first ship of it. So, he figured out he really wants it because of the information he's heard about it. So, he recruits Geordi LaForge. And Geordi, of course, is not sleeveless like Picard is, or Barclay, or even Data. He's got sleeves, but his visor is completely different. Yeah, let me show off his visor. Like, if you're familiar with how his visor looked on the Next Generation TV show, you'd be surprised how his visor looks here. Like, wow, it's like his visor. Yeah, this is his visor right here. Yep, and yeah, that's what he looks like in this universe. Oh yeah, he's bald. Yeah, and apparently he doesn't like the fact. Apparently, no one likes him very much because he's blind. Despite the fact he's actually pretty much a genius. Yeah, pretty much people commonly disrespect him. Unlike in the regular universe, people have no problem with the fact he's blind. Well, that's basically the universe for you. Everything is so different, so there's that. Yeah. So they actually find the ship pretty easily. Apparently, it's being powered by. It also has a cloaking net powered by 6 Klingon cloaking devices. 6. Oh, and what does the ship look like in the universe? When I saw what the ship looked like, oh wow, they took design from All Good Things. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, because well, most of the exterior looks mostly the same, except it's got extra warpness, so like it does in All Good Things. Like here it is, right here in this panel right here. This is what the ship looks like. And when I saw this, I'm like, wow, it just basically pulled directly from All Good Things with this design. Yep. And so okay, we need a first officer. So we need somebody who's good, trusting person. Riker, of course. Also, we also have Deanna Troi just interviewing various members of the Sargeras crew to transfer over with them to the Enterprise. Yep. So he talks to Riker, and by the way, Riker's first doesn't look like very handsome, and then we see him who looks like he's scarred. Aside from the scar, he looks mostly the same. And of course, he's sleeveless. So they talk for a bit, and initially it's like, after basically the presenting offer to him, he agrees. Oh, and what was basically Geordi's reaction? Geordi, well, okay. He gets to be chief engineer, and he gets like the largest sum just below Picard. Okay. And they shake on it. And then we also have Geordi meet up with Leah Brahms, which they are a couple in this universe. And he's like, okay, I'm going to be chief engineer. I'm like, you be my executive officer for chief engineering, for engineering. He's like, yeah, I could do that, especially since she helped design the damn ship, just like she did in the regular universe. So, the only two things she has in common with her Prime Universe counterpart is that she helped design the Enterprise, and that's from the show. Her being in a relationship with the Forge, that is actually from the Next Generation books, because this happens right after the death of her husband. Yeah, her husband gets killed by the frickin' Genesis wave, so Geordi and Leah Brahms have a relationship like not long after that. So it looks like the Tiptons took inspiration from the books for that. But mostly a lot of the stuff from the show itself. So, and who is in command? Who is the first official captain of the Enterprise? Jellicoe, the guy who, the character who was created to be the most despised character in the show. But at least he's a little more rational like he is here. He apparently is so, like, in the regular universe, his authority is like, it's not the command to respect. It's his style of command is so radically different from Picard's. It's like it's by demand that he has to be respected. Picard basically respects like you have to earn it and trust. They have differences in philosophy, but not like Jellicoe here. It's like, oh, he basically puts a guy through retraining just because his uniform is not straight. I'm not kidding about that. He seriously does that, and Riker basically is the first officer of the ship under Jellicoe, which that's also full for the regular universe as well. So he apparently has a lot of people who support him, who don't like Jellicoe. So, like the plan is simply this: convert a shuttlecraft into a massive transporter. Of course, they'll transport a box, which is I'll get to that box. So they basically have Geordi, his group, go storm engineering. Kill the chief engineer, which the guy wasn't completed anyways. And he takes their engineering, with the exception of that one death, engineering is taken really easily. And then we have Picard's group go storm the bridge. Jellicoe's taken prisoner, and 2 of the officers are killed on sight. And Jellicoe, of course, is later killed by being shoved out of an airlock. Yep, Jellicoe is killed by being shoved out of an airlock, which makes him the second character who appeared from Next Generation to get killed in the universe. This time his death was actually not by Picard, which I guess that the Tiptons probably didn't like him very much, so they were going to be like much more of a jerk in the mirror universe than he did on the show itself. He only appeared initially for 2 episodes, the 2-parter Chain of Command. He did later on appear as an admiral, which he still had with the same arrogance, but here his arrogance is like way over the top. So they take the ship, and of course they hand off the ship to... They stop by a place that Picard knows, which is near Neptune. And apparently Picard knows people, and then of course, then they're surrounded by Horatio, the Stargazer, which is his ship, apparently got a new crew. That quickly, somehow. And they have a brief scuffle until the Klingons, the Cardassians, show up. And they find them off. Quinn, of course. Oh, I almost forgot to mention Dr. Crusher. Not much different from the regular universe, except that she kept her son's genius hidden for years. And Picard's knew all about it. Because of how much of a genius he was able to figure out something about backstage comm badges. So, yeah. He figures out, of course, next night visiting because they need a new navigator. So he tells Wesley, I'm making my new navigator. Despite of Crusher's objections. So he says, go to the Quartermaster and get rid of the ugly sweater. Which... That's probably another nod to probably people's criticism of Wesley Crusher. Him wearing the ugly sweater. Because if you ever seen him basically from the first season show when he was an acting ensign, like before he switched out to that gray jumpsuit, he wore this ugly sweater in the show. And my guess is that's also Tipton's basically of disdain for something from Wesley Crusher. Get rid of the ugly sweater. And he basically puts on a regular form, becomes Navigator, and he's like Navigator for the rest of this. And Wesley, and of course, then we also have Guinan. Yes, Guinan's here too. She's a bit irrational. That was kind of odd. She was transporting a pod, but mostly her relationship with Picard is mostly the same. She's very trusting, and Picard, she initially doesn't like. She basically calls up Picard for basically not being an idiot, and Picard accepts the argument she presents, like. Okay, don't do that again with the whole running through the Enterprise thing. If you want to talk to me, just contact me through the intercom. I'll come to you. Yep. So, and then of course, well, after battling the Klingons, thanks to help with some Starfleet vessels, Admiral Quinn shows up. Yep, he was a character from season 1 of the show, who appeared for 2 episodes. Where at one point he got infected with a parasite to make him super strong. And he easily beat up LaForge, Riker, and Worf. I am not kidding about that. He beat up freaking Riker so easily. And it took Dr. Crusher, when he was possessed by the parasite, to be shot 4 times with a phaser on stun. Yeah, Quinn is at least not that stupid here. He sees Picard's actions as justified, basically, for what he did. So he just basically says, oh yeah, you want the Enterprise? Fine, you can have it. You're officially the captain of the Enterprise. And he goes on his merry way. And don't worry, this is not the end of their adventures, because next book, Through the Broken Mirror, which is a crossover with Next Generation, which I can't wait to review that one. That's actually a follow-up to this. I kind of wish this was an ongoing series because this was so good. I thoroughly enjoy reading this thing again because this is by far a really dang good miniseries. And it's only the second Star Trek miniseries that the Tiptons wrote. Because the first 2 they wrote were crossovers. One with Doctor Who, the other one with Planet of the Apes, and now, once again, Next Generation Scoop, this time in the universe, which is awesome. I get this book roughly... Before I get the rating, the article by J.K. Warwood. Because this book was so good, this book a 10 out of 10. It is that damn good a book. I highly recommend it. People fans of Next Generation, you would love this. This is fantastic. And I can't wait to get... I ordered the other book today, so hopefully I'll get the other book in soon to follow up to this one. There is actually 2 more. There is Broken Mirror, and I think it's like Through the Mirror, and the other one is Terra Incognito, and that's it. I like the fact that well, the Tiptons decided to do 2 follow-ups that because they probably felt as though that this miniseries was so successful for them. And in case you're wondering, aside from Free Comic Day issue, how many issues is this miniseries? It's only 5 issues. Yep, only 5 issues. Yeah, it was a really quick miniseries. I kind of wish this was ongoing because this was so good. So enjoyable. But no, it had to be a miniseries. Yeah. But yeah, not much else to say about this. But yeah, so that's it for sake of you. I have one more video I'm going to do. But I'm actually way a bit to do that one because this one was kind of long anyways. Next one will be my review for My Hero Academia. Okay, see you next video. Bye.